Hey guys, we're gonna do one more project. I just made a video and posted it on how to actually, like, the basics of metal stamping. So if you've got that part down, cool. Next, we're gonna make a concho. I'm gonna show you how easy that this is. So what you're gonna need is your 1-pound hammer. You're gonna need your, if you use a sandbag underneath, that's fine, but I use a rubber block, and then my steel piece of metal, my stamping surface. Disc cutter. This is a Swanstrom from I think I got this one from Auto Fry. And it's got all of your little discs, all the cutters that you're going to need. And then a dapping block and the punch. Make sure that whatever size you're going to make, or whatever, how big you want how much you want it raised up, whatever. Make sure it fits in there. Kind of loosely, but not so loosely to where you can wiggle it around. Alright. So we've got those. We also have a square sheet of copper. You can do this on silver too, but I always recommend, again, practice on copper or some inexpensive piece of metal. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Ben Hunt Never Ending Triangle. And you can grid it out too. It's fine. You can make an X or something like that on there so you can keep everything lined up perfectly. This is just showing you, if you know how to get your stamps on your metal, this is showing you how to make a concho. So I'm just going to eyeball it. So first thing I'm going to do is do my tilt and tap, just the way I showed you. Alright, so take a look at it. Didn't get it great, and I kind of did this a little bit on purpose. So I didn't really get a perfect impression on the bottom of it. This is why you don't use your nylon hammer yet. So what I can do is go back in there, click it in. Oh, they're so pretty. Okay, now make sure that the tip of that's in the center, okay? So what you're gonna do next is do the same thing. You know what? I'm going to do something a little bit different. Let's do something fun. Let's find my paisleys. Here we go. We're going to put a little circle in the middle of it. And you can use any design that you want to. You can put a ship in the middle of it. You can put a butterfly in the middle of it. You can use the bee. The bee is a great one. But whatever you want to put on here, it does not have to be exact. It doesn't have to be perpendicular. I've said it once. I'll say it a million times. It's handmade. Okay. So I know a lot of us just kind of whiz right through these. So I'm going to line it back up. Make sure the top of that is probably pretty close to touching the circle. And all I'm concerned about is whether or not my flat piece is lined up at the top of the flat piece on the other one. Okay, looks good. I'm going to turn it around, do the same thing. Okay, and one more. And just like as I can, take a little circle. You're going to need a little bit harder than that. it is always a really good idea to anneal your metal. So, got my little design stamp down there. You might have missed that as my camera decided to walk away. But you stamp your design on. Okay, I've got it pretty circular. Now, then you get your nylon hammer. You just kind of get it flat. I did it design side down first, and now I'm doing it design side up because it really gets misshapen. Okay. But using metal stamps, you don't ever have to buy a concho. You just make your own. All right. So I've got plenty of room all around the outside of it. Now we're going to switch to the disc cutter. This is how easy this is. You can do this on silver, you can do it on copper, brass, it doesn't really matter. So anytime you're using like a disc cutter, you want to make sure, first of all, that your design's centered. That's the most important part, one of the most important parts. And before I even completely center it, you get a piece of metal the exact same gauge as what you're trying to cut through on the other side. Because what'll happen, and you just stick it a little bit on the outside, it doesn't need to be anything fancy, just the same gauge. Because what'll happen otherwise is as you tighten it, you've got your metal on this side, as you tighten it down, it's going to be cattywampus and it's going to cause trouble. It dulls your disc cutter a lot faster because it'll catch on the lip and just cause problems. So anyhow, before I tighten it down, I want to make sure it is as centered as I can get it. And you know what? It's a little bit long on this side. Actually, it's a little bit long on all sides. So I'm just going to trim it off just a little bit. Okay, pick your size. There we go. Now I can get that nice and centered. And I'll show you. And make sure I have my metal on the other side. Tighten it down. And then with these ones, you just push the button in and you lift it up just enough to turn it. Get the handle out of the way if it's in the way. There we go. So this is pretty centered. This is just, you know, to teach you how to do it. If you're more of a perfectionist, take your time. No big deal. So now we're going to get your burr life or whatever you're going to use, and I just kind of roll it in. Sometimes this kind of lube is not exactly the best for it, but it's better than nothing. That way it gives it a little bit more of a glide down. It also keeps your cutting blade a little bit sharper. It's the other reason why I like the Swanstrom is because there's like an angle to it. You see how it's at an angle? So it slices down cleanly. And it'll do a much better job too with that piece of metal on the side. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and this is a good idea to use. It's where having a good heavy hammer is really going to benefit you. Alright, but I'm not really too worried about it. I'm just going to whack it through. And I've got a metal base down here, so I'm not putting it on anything special. Do some really good whacks. Lift it up. Set this aside. Pull your metal out. A little bit later. Now we have a round piece. Now for the fun part. And because I thought I knew what size concho that I want. There we go. Maybe. Play around with it. Pick whatever size on your dapping block that you want. Whatever depth. And then when you're dapping, it's kind of similar to your tilt and tap. Except you just kind of want to go around. That's it. You start in the middle, hammer it straight down, and then you just kind of work your way around. Then you take a look at it and see if there's any edges that are still sticking out or if it's not perfectly round somewhere. Yep, there's one little spot right there. And when I'm doing the edges, I'm not giving it really good hard whacks. We're just making sure that it's round. Okay, take a look at it. Doesn't look quite perfect to me, so That's a little bit better. My dapping block needs to be cleaned. Got your concho. Now for 150 grit sandpaper. And you are good to go. See? You made a concho. It's that easy. So, another thing that you can do if you don't want it to be perfectly circular, or you want to use a different kind of design on it, it's got to be round overall in shape. But I also have seen people who will and make sure your dapping block is clean before you do it. Before you dap it. Anyhow, another thing that you can do instead of taking and using the Swanstrom disc cutter, it's a good way to make them really fast. Okay, but what you could do is you can, while it's still flat, instead of using the disc cutter, you can hand saw it out. So you've got, a little bit of a wave going around the outside of it, or follow like the overall design. If I really wanted to, I could make one out of like a fleur-de-lis and then just kind of go around the points. But, if you wanted to go ahead and get it soldered onto something, you've got to make sure that your points are connecting pretty well. So you just rub it on your sandpaper and then you're good to go. Or don't rub it on sandpaper and use your silicone polishing wheels or whatever you use to clean up your outside edges, and you just clean up the outside edges, punch a little hole in it, you can make yourself a pair of earrings or a necklace, whatever you want to do, whatever you do with your conchos. It's totally your discretion. Make them and sell them. Why not? I don't do that because I don't have time. Anyhow, so making a concho. It's that easy. Pretty cool, huh? Go ahead and let me know if you guys have any questions. I could probably run through it a lot quicker if I wasn't talking and showing you guys everything. They go really fast. So, all right, you guys, take care.